Welcome to this explainer, where we're going to unpack the architecture of artificial contentment. Today, we're exploring how the classic text, Brave New World, perfectly diagnoses our absolute modern obsession with comfort. We often think of this text as a story about some distant, totally unrecognizable future, but when you really look at the source material, it's actually an incredibly sharp critique of the exact society we're living in right now. I am so excited to guide you through these concepts because what we're about to see is a real game changer. It fundamentally shifts how we view our daily routines, our devices, and even our own desires. So let's dive right in with a chilling question that really challenges our basic assumptions. What if happiness becomes a system and not a choice? We naturally just assume happiness is this deeply personal, organic pursuit, right? Like it's something we earn. But the source material asks us to imagine a world where happiness is completely engineered from the ground up. It's a fascinating, if kind of terrifying, starting point. It essentially forces us to ask, if you're guaranteed to feel good all the time, does it even matter if the feeling isn't real? Moving into Section 1, the architecture of contentment, or comfort over meaning. Here we're looking at a pretty stark trade-off. Society willingly trading the harsh, sometimes painful pursuit of truth for the numbing guarantee of constant pleasure. And the wild part is, it's a completely willing transaction. Think about it. Truth is complicated. It creates friction. It can be deeply uncomfortable. Pleasure, on the other hand, well, pleasure is easy. What's so incredibly compelling about this concept is that the architecture doesn't force people away from the truth. It simply distracts them with so much pleasure that they voluntarily just stop looking for it. And this transaction goes even further. True freedom is entirely sacrificed to maintain societal stability. Freedom is inherently unpredictable, right? It means people can make bad choices, they can cause chaos, they can totally disrupt the system. But stability? Stability is predictable, it's perfectly smooth. The critique here is that when a society values ultimate stability above absolutely everything else, the very first thing that has to go is individual freedom. Now, to really break down this architecture, we're going to map out the four central pillars of the critique: control through pleasure, the loss of individuality, modern tech parallels, and finally, the psychological interpretation. All right, Section 2. Control through constant pleasure, the end of suffering. By removing all forms of pain and struggle, the system inherently strips away the exact things that give human life its meaning. Just think about it for a second. Our greatest achievements, our deepest relationships, our most profound personal growth, those almost always stem from overcoming some form of adversity or struggle. If you're institutionally prevented from suffering, you're totally insulated from the very friction that creates a meaningful life. The architecture gives you a perfectly painless existence, but honestly, the cost is a completely hollow one. Now, this right here might just be the most disturbing idea of the entire text. If people are always satisfied, they stop asking questions. A dissatisfied mind looks for answers. A dissatisfied mind looks at a flawed system and asks, hey, how can we fix this? But if the system ensures you're perpetually comfortable, perpetually entertained, and perpetually satisfied, why would you ever rebel? Why would you ever bother looking behind the curtain? The ultimate form of control isn't fear or violence at all. It's a smile. Which brings us to Section 3, the loss of individuality, homogenization for happiness. When individual struggle is swapped out for artificial happiness, we lose the very essence of what makes us unique. The source material points out that the specific friction, the flaws, the personal battles we fight every day, that is exactly what defines our individuality. When that individual struggle is just erased and substituted with a mass-produced, identical state of artificial contentment, we become completely homogenized. Everyone is happy, sure, but they're happy in the exact same programmed way. It's literally an assembly line of contentment, where the individual self just slowly fades away into collective comfort. Moving right along to Section 4, modern technology and comfort, and the parallels of today. So the crucial point here, and this is where it hits a little close to home, is how modern technological systems perfectly mirror this exact architecture. The source material makes it totally clear. We don't actually need a futuristic, dystopian government to build this world for us. We're basically building it ourselves through algorithms. Think about the apps you use every single day. They are brilliantly designed to offer this algorithmic contentment. They learn exactly what you like, they remove all the friction, and they feed you an endless stream of tailored pleasure. It keeps us constantly entertained, comfortable, and unquestioning. We are literally prioritizing the passive pleasure of the infinite scroll over the active freedom of engaging with the messy real world. And finally, Section 5, the psychology of satisfaction, accepting the cage. Psychologically speaking, this is deeply, deeply impactful. When our environment, whether that's a societal structure or a digital ecosystem, guarantees constant comfort, our minds become conditioned in three very distinct ways. First, we develop a hypersensitivity and an active avoidance of all friction. Like we literally can't handle being bored, even for a minute. Second, we witness the substitution of truth for pleasure. We'd much rather have a comforting lie or a distracting meme over a harsh reality. And finally, the complete loss of questioning. Our minds just adapt to blindly accept whatever is smoothly presented to us. We stop critically evaluating our reality simply because the reality provided is just so incredibly comfortable. So, I want to end this explainer by turning the psychological mirror directly toward you. Take a second to evaluate your own life, your own screen time, your daily routines, and ask yourself, are you actually choosing your happiness, or is it just being fed to you? It's a really provocative thought, but recognizing the architecture is the absolute first step to stepping outside of it. Thank you so much for exploring this with me today, and I really hope this leaves you questioning just a little bit more about the comfort in your own life.